Taking care of disabled persons, the elderly, and their families is what the Rural Economic Assistance League is all about. Brian Burns tells us more about this worthy group who benefit from our upcoming Day of Giving.
Transportation to the general public, to persons with disabilities, as well as seniors. We provide a number of housing opportunities to ensure that they maintain a fulfilling independent life.
Martin Ornelas heads up the Rural Economic Assistance League, which has been operating in South Texas the past 46 years. The league serves 11 counties in the coastal bend, providing services that rural residents might not otherwise have access to. The league operates adult day activity health service centers where seniors can come and socialize and check on their medical needs.
So it's better to come to the daycare and see other people, and you're not depressed.
They also provide home health services. Ornelas says the services are vital to those in rural areas.
We know that without the services we would provide in rural areas, the isolation would simply continue. People call us because they need assistance. They need to get to locations because they've lost mobility, they're getting older in age, they have disabilities, and we're the life link for them to continue having a fulfilling life.
Rural Economic Assistance League operates 7 housing facilities for the elderly and disabled throughout coastal bend communities. Each housing complex provides amenities, care options, community center, and other quality of life amenities.
I just moved over here because I was living alone where I lived in San Diego, and my children are here, so I like it over here because every day I have somebody to talk to.
Ornelas says the Day of Giving benefits will also help them maintain their rural transportation services.
We provide over 250,000 trips a year to seniors, persons with disabilities, the general public, and anyone who's needing public transportation to get to those necessary appointments that they need.
Just another of the important organizations that serve the community with your help and will benefit from our Day of Giving. Brian Burns, 3 News.